In this video, I'm gonna make people believe that they're looking at a
Pickle?
and a painting of a pickle, when in reality,
They're both actually cake.
I prank people with my cakes all the time. People thought that this pear cake was real, and this makeup bag. But today's cake is different. I have never attempted a cake illusion this difficult before. I've never gotten reactions to my cakes from people in person. I have no clue if I can pull this off, but I am excited to try. My name is Natalie Sideserf, and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today, I'm gonna make a cake of a pickle and a painting. I'm making two cakes today. One will look just like a real pickle, and the other will look like a painting of a pickle. Once both are finished, I'm going to place these two cakes next to each other and ask people,
Which one's a painting?
my goal is for people to believe that one of the cakes is a real pickle and the other is a flat two-dimensional painting. I want them to look and say,
Well, this is easy. The painting is clearly the pickle on the left, and the real pickle's on the right.
and then I'm gonna cut the pickles to reveal that they're both actually cake. And then their minds will be blown, probably. It's the perfect cake prank, if I can pull it off, that is. Because if people realize that I'm bluffing and something seems off, well then the joke's on me. I've never done anything like this, so I don't even know if it's gonna work. This may surprise you, but out of these two cakes, the one I'm most worried about is the cake that looks like a painting. Don't get me wrong, they're both very challenging. It's just that I'm far more familiar with making realistic cakes. I came up with this idea because about 4 years ago, I made a cake of character Michael Scott from the TV show The Office, and quite a few people commented telling me that the cake looked like a realistic painting, like it could be flat. So I looked at the cake and I thought, yeah, that could definitely pass as a painting. That wasn't my intention, but I just thought that was so cool. And ever since, I wanted to try to make a 3D cake look like a painting. Intentionally this time. So I'm worried about this one, because what if instead of it looking like a flat 2D painting, it just ends up looking like a poorly made cake? To be honest, that would be kind of funny. No, I'm not going there. I'm gonna try to make this cake look like a painting. All right, I have two blank cake canvases. This is where the two cakes are gonna go in very different directions. I'm starting with the hyper-realistic cake, the cake that's gonna look like a real pickle. The first thing I need to do is sculpt all the details. I'm sculpting some lines and imperfections, and of course bumps. Pickles are bumpy. Usually when I sculpt cakes, I'm pretty relaxed, but not today. This is extra stressful because I'm not gonna be able to tell if this whole illusion that I'm going for worked until both cakes are completely finished. I'm stressed and I haven't even gotten to the hardest part yet. The thing that's really gonna make this cake look realistic is
The painting.
it's the most difficult, complicated, and important part of this cake. In fact, the way I paint both of these cakes will determine whether they're successful or not. But before I get into all that, I want to tell you about this video sponsor, 2 Dots. You know how I make hyper-realistic cakes of everyday objects? Well, after over a decade of making them, I see everything as cake. I'm sitting on the couch. Could this be a cake? Feeding my dog. Could this be a cake? Putting on makeup. This could definitely be a cake. While I love it, sometimes I need a break from cake. So I started playing this game called 2 Dots.
It's fantastic.
It's the perfect combination of challenging levels with a relaxing vibe because the design is minimalistic and the music is nice and calm. So I played 2 Dots to take a break, and when I'm ready to get back to work on my cakes, my mind is clear and I can really focus. They also have these weekly events like the scavenger hunt where you find hidden items on a map, and the treasure hunt where you complete 7 special levels to unlock rewards. They actually have an Easter themed treasure hunt right now, and it's really fun. It's free to download on iOS and Android, and it has over 115 million downloads globally. So the secret's out. I'm not the only one playing. I've got a link in the description where you can download 2 Dots, or just use this QR code. And now back to the cake. The only colors I need for this cake are red, yellow, and green. When you add a little bit of red to green, the green becomes pickle green. To make it look realistic, I'm gonna build up layers of color, starting with yellow, because yellow is the lightest color on the pickle, and I like to paint light to dark. Having those real pickles as a reference is super helpful. Now, this is a trust the process kind of situation here, because I know this looks bad. This happens to me every time I start hand painting a cake. I think to myself, oh boy, what am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? And then I just keep working on it, and then it just starts to come together. I just have to trust myself. I'm getting really close to finishing up this realistic pickle. So yeah, I'm getting pretty nervous to start the next one, but I have to do it. I already told you guys I was gonna do it. I'm worried that I have a whole plan for this cake, and it's like not gonna happen the way I think it is. Because sometimes I try things and I bomb. But you know what I've learned over all these years of making art? Even when I fail, I am always happy I tried. Because if I didn't do things outside my comfort zone, then I wouldn't have discovered the innovative techniques that I use now. I know for a
Fact.
I wouldn't be nearly as good at making cakes if I didn't put myself out there to potentially fail. So let's dive in. Let's see how this goes. Painting this cake to look like a painting is it's really difficult. I think it's more difficult than painting the realistic pickle cake. And that was hard. I want it to look real, but also not too real, because I want people to immediately think
This is the painting.
so they pick it when I ask which pickle is the painting. I have a few techniques that will hopefully help me pull this off. Well, that was a tongue twister. Typically, when I paint hyper-realistic cakes, I try my best to hide the brush strokes. But with this one, I kind of want to make them visible. What's more painting-like than brush strokes? I'm hand painting all the details. Details like the bumps and highlights. Now I'm getting close, but it's just not as believable as I want it to be. So I'm gonna add one last thing that I hope helps make this cake really look like a painting. I'm placing it on a sheet of edible paper, and I'm painting the shadow. I sure hope this works. Let's go see if I can prank anyone. So I couldn't bring the real cakes because if people can walk up to the cake, they're gonna see that it's obviously 3D and it's not a 2D painting. So I'm gonna show them this picture instead. And then I'm gonna show them the video of the cakes being cut. I'm a little bit worried that they're gonna know that something's up, like that it's not a painting. I mean, what if they know it's a cake? That would be the worst. So I'm kind of nervous. All right, I gotta do it. Let's go. I'm going to show you a photo of two pickles. I want you to pick which one is a painting.
Okay.
Either the left or the right. Ready, go.
The left one.
So is it left or right?
Right?
I picked the right.
The left.
Left.
The one on the right looks like the real one to me.
I'm gonna say right is the painting because it looked really good. I'd imagine this is like one of those trick questions.
Doesn't look like a pickle.
They are actually both cake. Cake! No! So they're both actually cake.
Oh, what the That's not a pickle.
Yeah, so they're actually both cake.
Wow.
So they're both actually cake. Did you think that the one on the left was a painting though?
Yeah, that's pretty good. They're technically painted.
That's true. They were hand painted, so they are technically painted.
Yeah, so I was right.
You were.
Shadow was in front of it instead of coming out from underneath it, so that's why. Dang it, I feel foolish.
And there you have it, 2 pickle cakes. Honestly, I like the painted pickle. I think it passes as a painting, and the realistic pickle is looking pretty real next to it. But I want to hear what you think. Do you think I pulled it off? All right, let's cut the cakes. Ah, it's so fun. I'm gonna put these final shots up on my social. So after you subscribe to this channel, head over to those and see if I was able to trick anyone. And don't forget, there's a link in the description and this QR code where you can download 2 dots. Give it a try. It's free and it's really fun.